everybody. Welcome back to the Who Asked Me podcast. I am so excited. We have a guest this week. And as you know, if you have listened to us over and over again, my podcast fairy godmother, Taria. I always say when I first started this podcast journey, 4 years ago, the first person to ever reach out to me and like say, I like your content, you're funny, anything was Miss Taria. And I don't think that I would have kept going had I not found a friend like Taria.
You're not about to get up here and me
You
and my
know,
airy self, and get emotional.
you know how hard it can be when you first start out. You're like, we're
Girl.
already talking to ourselves, but especially for those of us who like we don't know anybody in this
Yeah, in this
realm,
space.
yeah, space. And so you're talking to yourself and then you're following people, and it can be very hard to
Yep.
like make, acquaintances and stuff because, everybody's on a different page. But yes, everybody
Girls.
needs a Miss Taria in their
Oh my
corner.
gosh. Let me tell you, y'all, I felt literally in love with Zell. It was her voice, her personality. She was funny. She just was everything. So I had to slide. And that's another, I feel like, not that I'm somebody to be giving flowers, but I feel like you just never know
Oh,
when
you
somebody needs
are. Yes, you
encouragement.
are.
But I love to give my friend, even before they become my
Hmm.
friends,
Yes.
their flowers. And when to me, especially a woman, I do it for men too, but when
Hmm.
another woman, a black woman is
Hmm.
amazing, why not? And bonus, y'all know I've said it before, I like pretty people, but my pretty is my pretty can go pretty far, but I like pretty
Hmm.
people
The
too. So
energy.
she was all of that. Yeah. So I was like, I'm getting in her DMs.
Yes, and I so appreciate it. We have had such a beautiful friendship, and today
Yes.
we are here to talk about a plethora of things. So let's dive into them. First things first,
Yes.
Miss Kern, Miss Kern, she's a free woman. I's free now. I's free.
Eyes free. Miss Sophia home now.
Karen is free. She is out of jail. We
Yes.
saw her passing, and the everybody saw the
Girl.
GoPro in the car. So we are assuming, even though we've gotten a trailer already, there is going to be. I'm assuming like an after this season special, like they cut the
Yes.
credits and then it's like done.
Zell, I saw a comment. I said, this comment ate. I wish I knew who it was. They said, you know how the trailer starts out with Giselle writing Dear Karen?
Hmm.
The season should end, screen cut to black, open it up with Karen reading the letter. I said, bam, that
It
would be
really should.
so good. Like that just gives me chills thinking about
It
it.
really should. What did you think of the Potomac trailer?
Okay. I know this is a safe space and we're
Hmm.
honest over here. We know our boo Kendrick is gonna hear this.
And it's his birthday. It's his birthday when we're recording
Oh,
this.
that's right. That's right. I need to reach out. Okay. Because it's the fifth, right?
Hmm.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, I need to wait. Look, just need to set my alarm to text him after this. Why was I literally just thinking about his birthday the other day? Hold on.
It's
Don't kill me,
everybody's
Zell.
birthday is in September. I'm not
My
kidding.
one of my well, she's my husband's goddaughter, but it's
Hmm.
like my best friend's
Yeah.
daughter. It's like she calls me mom. Her
Hmm.
birthday is today. Hold
Yeah.
on. Okay.
Everybody's birthday
Um,
in September.
So he's going to hear this, but I was like, why is this so Giselle heavy? Mind you, I used to love Giselle, and I was like, why are they centering her? But okay, I'm gonna give her a little something.
Hmm.
If they center her, then I need you to be that. Meaning, don't be the division. Bring
Hmm.
them together like a Nene would, like the old school housewives who knew
Yeah.
how to do it.
Hmm.
Be that.
I
So
agree.
I, Kiarna and Wendy. And we might see Kiana, we may be getting a little bit more of her personality.
Hmm.
By the way, you're a skincare girly too. We both love skincare. We both love skincare. I feel like you should come to my house. Megan is welcome. We have plenty of room. You stay. Me and you go to Kiana's spa because
We
it's like 15 minutes
should.
from my house.
Oh, is it?
Yes, I pass it almost every day
Oh, we should.
and
I.
do like a little vlog thing about the
Oh my
skincare.
gosh.
And
I was thinking about ordering some and seeing if she like because does she ship?
I would hope so.
I would think so. You wouldn't,
I would
yeah,
think
you
so,
wouldn't get
right?
on a stage like Real Housewives of
Yeah, and not ship.
Potomac and
Yeah.
not ship.
We could
I
literally go.
okay, and I want to ask you something because I
Okay.
had this feeling, and I said, I think I said it on this podcast. Now that we've had some distance, I would not mind if we
No.
saw Robin Dixon at a dinner. At a
It's like, you know
dinner.
what?
At a dinner.
I will come back and say I would, you know what? I wouldn't even mind. Okay. I was going to say I wouldn't even mind because Robin and Giselle used to be my favorites. That's the crazy
Mm-hmm.
part.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind Robin coming back, even in a friend of, but word on the curb was they had a conversation with her and she wanted full time or nothing. Yeah. So I wouldn't mind if she came back the same season Karen came back. Because can you imagine? Come on, Karen be getting Robin together.
She does, but okay, I will say this. It does when I saw the Real Housewives of Potomac trailer, I said, "Wow, we have no Karen, no Candace, no Robin, none of the big heavy hitters of that were
Yeah,
like deep in storylines and in conflict that we
that's
have
true.
had." So I was like, "This feels so different. This feels
Yes, but
so
not
different."
bad, right? It feels
Exactly,
different,
not
but
bad.
not
And
bad.
we're
That's how I
kind
felt.
of, yep, we're kind of getting into the same space as we're getting into with Salt Lake City with Real Housewives of Potomac, is that we have these
Yes.
OGs that are very inundated and they've been here for a long time. And we are going to start to get into like, does this person really need to be here? Right. And yes, I'm
Yes.
talking about Ashley fucking Darby. Yeah. Yes, I
When
am talking about, I barely saw her in that trailer.
but can I say something?
Hmm.
Zell, let me ask you a question. And listeners, you beautiful listeners, of Who Asked Me podcast, what are our names, by the way? You need a name for us
I do
that
need,
listen
oh,
to you
yeah.
faithful.
I
Are
do
we
need
the
a
who's?
name.
We're the who's who.
Oh my God, that's so good. The who's who. I love that. The who's who's. Yes,
We are the
yes.
who's who's, boo. I want to know who's who's. Zell, ooh, are the people going to jump down Ashley's throat for foot shaming the same way they used to jump down Candace's throat when she would talk about Mia's big feet? I'm just wondering.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind it. Don't get me wrong.
I don't
I
either.
don't
I have
mind it.
big
I don't
feet. I
mind the
don't
baggage.
care.
But I wonder. But I will say, okay. Also, the Stacy with the breath mints. So I'll just say she came to Kempire's DC show
Mm-hmm.
in January.
Mm-hmm.
Someone there that I was with came up and said, "Girl, her breath." And I didn't smell it. So I was on stage with her and Kempire, and I said, and it wasn't Kempire that told me this, it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
her, it was somebody else
Mm-hmm.
that went to greet her.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, did I not smell it? Because you know how if somebody tells you, girl, they
Mm-hmm.
stink over there, you instinctually
You
hold your breath.
yep, yep, yep.
But she said it. She said the other day, she was like, I'm validated. That trailer validated me.
Now listen, the who's who's, they know, they listen to me over here. I have spoken before about how when I approach people that, or when people approach me that I'm not familiar with and I meet them for the first time, I naturally do like hold my breath a little bit if I don't know you, if I don't trust you. I don't, and it's not like a, but it's like probably like a 2 second thing
Yeah.
altogether where I'm just initially I'm like, and
You
I,
breathe out of your nose, not
yes,
I mean out of
exactly.
your mouth.
Oh my God. There are a few things that I think you can recover from a lot. I just don't know on if
Yes.
somebody told me that my breasting, in which it happens, right? It
Right.
happened to everybody at some point in time. We all go
Right.
to
Yes.
dinner, we all go
Yes.
to it's natural. But
Yes.
to be known as consistently having hot breath,
That's that's my thing. If you were like, girl, you need a mint. If you like, all right, like you said, we need to not be embarrassed about it. Everybody
mm-hmm,
farts, everybody has
mm-hmm,
a lapse, whatever,
mm-hmm.
whatever. But for them to have that bowl, it's clearly a thing. But I don't know if I could do that.
No.
I don't know if I could do that to somebody on TV.
I don't know either. I would have to really, really dislike you and
Me
not
too. I
give
would,
a
me too.
fuck about you.
Because
It feels
once we
like,
get there,
mhm. It feels like Stacey's gonna have a rough sophomore season.
but okay, so a part of me wonders though if her and Wendy end up coming together because Kiana unfollowed Wendy and Stacy.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
I'm
So
excited.
then Me too. Now
I'm
I was talking about
excited.
because when Kiana was like, "You don't like her," I'm like, "Oh, is she talking about?" At first, I thought, "Well, maybe she's talking about Giselle," because
Hmm.
I keep forgetting Giselle knew Kiana because Kiana is good friends with her hairdresser
Yeah,
Cal.
Cal.
So now I'm like, were they talking about Stacy? It was Wendy
Mhm.
trying to befriend Stacy, even though she did this with Eddie and she's going to act like she moved past it. And Kiana's like, you don't like her. Like, I am
I'm excited.
excited.
I'm excited.
Me too.
I love fall. And we're in a little bit of a drought right now with Bravo, which I'm totally fine with. I'm okay with. But I'm excited. Okay, also, did you hear? Because I can't remember. Sometimes, you think you hear things and then you're like,
Yeah.
wait, did I dream that? Did you hear that apparently Bose and Dorit had a little tiff?
Yes.
Okay,
I
so
don't
I
know where I
wasn't
saw
crazy.
that too, but
I
no, you're
wasn't
not crazy.
crazy.
I heard that too.
Okay, interesting.
This will
Interesting.
be, we talked to, okay.
Last time you were on, we had that really good
Yes.
conversation, and the audio was
Yes.
kind of fucked up on that one, but it was still a really good
It
conversation.
was a
So
good
I'm interested in
conversation.
that too. Okay, moving on. I saw this, and I know that you have gotten into this person's ass before, so I wanted to just bring it up. Did you see that Gigi left that comment?
Let me
Gigi
tell you
from
something.
Shaw's
Let me
on
tell,
Sunset.
girl.
It left that comment saying, "Is she pregnant?" Like she does look like it on Brittany from the Valley, on a picture of Brittany from the Valley.
And the fact that okay, first of all, we're not supposed to be commenting like that. But even if she had just left at, is she pregnant? For her to say, the belly is bellying,
Yeah.
you rabid wench.
She is
She
so
is
nasty. She's
so
so nasty
nasty.
spirited.
And I wish, and nobody could really handle her. And I wanted, like, when she would be
Mm-mm.
like threatening, I wanted somebody to snatch her by her appropriating self. Because,
Mm-hmm.
girl, let's be clear.
Mm-hmm. She's
She
so
was so,
nasty spirited.
and then her message to Kristen, something, 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 God is love, God is this, God is that, but me and you have a problem. I hate when they bring, God is like, I don't bring me in this
Mm-mm.
with this. And then call Kristen Bucktooth. I was like, I had to think about how Kristen looked. I was like, I don't think,
So did okay, so did I, because
me too. Yeah.
what buck to I was like, when did she why and that is when I was like seriously thinking about like Chris, when she called Kristen Bucktooth, I said, Giselle, stop thinking so hard, because if you
That me,
start looking
same,
at her
same.
and seeing that, it's gonna make you as crazy as Gigi. Gigi is
Yes.
so fucking thirsty to be back
Yes.
on TV. And she knows no bounds. Her thirst knows no
No
fucking
bounds.
bounds.
Like, girl, Kristen should have told her, girl, this comment is longer than your marriage. This comment is longer than the times that you have your son, from what it looks like. Girl, I ate her
They
up.
could have said and that's my thing also. The things that you could come back at Gigi with that are public knowledge, very easily accessible,
Yes.
you need to shut your fucking mouth. Shut the fuck up. And get off Instagram. You are always on Instagram arguing with somebody. Wasn't in, or if you're not in Instagram arguing with somebody, you chasing somebody through the Nordstrom's parking lot.
Girl, I
Like,
said, if somebody needs to really, like, again, like we like to say, is violence the answer? No. Sometimes it's a question, and the answer to that question is yes.
mm-hmm.
So I feel like somebody just needs to snatch her. Like, she's the type that you ain't gonna learn until somebody puts hands on you.
Yep. And then she's gonna become the victim though. Then she's
Yeah,
gonna
of course.
become the
Yeah.
victim.
Yeah, she gonna turn on them white woman tears. Even though I
Mm-hmm.
know that y'all ain't gotta tell me that she's not white, them white woman passing tears and be victim.
We've had this conversation ad
Yes.
nauseum after this
Yes.
season of Love Island. Oh my God. And we're
Girl.
gonna get to Love Island UK,
Okay.
because I've converted Taria into a Love
Yes,
Island
she
UK
has.
watcher, but we're gonna get there a little bit later. I want to stay on Bravo right now. We're gonna go over to Real
What is
Housewives
this?
of OC.
What is this, Zell? Watchers, can you say, oh, wait, hold on. I got to bring it back up. The fact that this is forever on my phone, the fact that I have gone to sleep with headphones. Oh, you can't see it. It's the Love
Hulu.
Island
Oh,
heart.
yep. Mm-hmm.
The fact that I've gotten in my bed with my fine man with headphones on
Mm-hmm.
to watch just a
It's
few more minutes of Love Island.
it's welcome,
Crazy.
welcome. Did you watch the interview with Katie on the Vial Files?
I heard a little bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
I just Okay, I'm not no anyone's hater. You know I
Mm-hmm.
cheer for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes just looking at him get these interviews that he really don't care nothing
Oh,
about, just
Taria, listen, this is a safe space for anybody who doesn't like Nick Viall.
this white man
Yeah.
gets these interviews that he cares nothing about. He has
Mm-mm.
no, why is my camera like that? There we go. He has no nuance to his
Mm-hmm.
conversation. He barely opens his mouth in Chung Soon's, and then he's oof.
He
So
feeds
I only
he
heard a little bit of it.
he feeds the his narrative. He forces
Yes,
that into, and I listen, I watched The Bachelor, so I knew who Nick Viall was. And
me
when he
too.
first started having the podcast, when it was in the same studio as News, that E News was filmed in, I was like, okay. And he was talking to other reality TV stars. It's not that I have a problem with him having a podcast, but like you said, it's him coming into the Bravo space, the space that he was not in and that he's not really familiar with it, and talking on these subjects and interviewing. And then if I like, let's say I'm not a big fan of Emily, I'm really not, but let's say she wanted to sit down with me and have a conversation. Yes, I'm going to be professional, right? There, I think there's a
Yes.
line of being professional and being, you know, objective in a way, even though I'm
You
not
talk about Emily
necessarily,
Simpson, right?
yes, yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Girl,
Even though I'm not
we have the
necessarily a
same.
fan.
Oof.
Yeah, even though
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily a fan of her. Of course, I'd take the interview. Of course, I would sit down with her, be professional. He forces the fan narrative and also
Yes.
the his narrative that we have heard him speak on into his interviews. And then I do personally feel like, because I had to listen to a lot, I didn't have to, I chose to listen to a lot of him interviewing the Love Island cast, and
Uh-huh.
kind of like reporting it, but repeating it
Oh, I
for
loved your recap. I love your recaps on TikTok.
for people who didn't want to listen to it, because he is hard to listen to. There were certain times when I would come out of listening to those interviews and just be in a bad mood, because I was like, that this is so fucking ridiculous. But I feel like we are all on the same page and we understand Katie is telling fibs. But
Yes.
I am purposefully using the word fibs. She is telling fibs. Katie is not lying to about anything that is detrimental. That is, if it, in my opinion, she is doing
Okay.
regular housewife lying this season, and what these women are so upset about. And I don't know if Katie is just looking at this situation with Kiki Monique being hindsight is 2020, or if she has been coached at all and is saying, but I personally was like, that was a good fucking answer, Katie, because her
Okay.
take on it is she says the same thing that Kiki says, but with a different, when it's like, how are you doing today? Oh, how are you doing today? It's the way that they're saying
Oh,
it. So they're
okay.
saying the
Okay.
same things took place, but how they are taking it, how they both read it is completely wrong. So I heard Kiki, I don't listen to Kiki's podcast. I heard her clip of her on her podcast
Hmm.
with Dorinda, where she's like, I don't need you for clout. I'm on a
Hmm.
podcast with one of the biggest housewives of all fucking time. Dorinda then went on to say some very nasty things in very Dorinda form. Katie, she
Thank
says
you for
this.
saying very Dorinda form.
Yeah,
Thank you.
she says, yes, I met Kiki. I told her, I'm a big fan of hers. I followed her. She admits that she followed her on Instagram, but she says it in a way that is very light and it's very believable,
Okay.
right? And she says Kiki texted her and another OC housewife, I can't remember who, and is like, I'm in the area. Do you want to meet for lunch? Katie said she was shopping. She was in the area. She said, okay, sure, I'll go meet for lunch. The
I
other
believe
person
that part.
couldn't. The other person couldn't. They had lunch. They had, kikied, and she kept telling her, she was asking her questions, and she kept saying, everything's off the record, everything's off the record, everything's off the record. And she says, I told her a little bit more than I probably should have, but I thought that she said, I kind of thought that we were building a kind of a relationship. And I know that there are other housewives that have, and reality stars on the network, Bravo, that have a relationship with Kiki, that is true. Kiki was at Sheena's
Yes.
birthday party. Like
Yes.
she
Yes.
does, like to her words, she has a podcast with Dorinda. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I can see where Katie was like, okay, this is okay. This is
Yes,
okay,
yeah,
right?
1000%. Yeah.
We have other Bravo podcasters or fans that have turned podcasters. I think Christian Grey has or had a show
Yeah,
with
with
Vicky. So
Vicky,
she
yeah.
did not think that it was that big of a deal
Oh,
to
deal.
do. And now here we are in the season, and it's the women are saying that it's a big deal because
Looking
I
at it,
go
you
ahead.
putting it that way does make me look at it a little bit
Hmm.
differently.
Hmm.
I do think, oh, so, okay. I do think Katie's a liar. I
Yeah,
think,
I do too. I do
you
too.
know what it is? This did not happen on the show, has nothing to do with anything. But I feel like anybody who calls the cops and
Hmm.
lies on someone,
Yeah.
however, the way they are going about it to me,
Hmm.
that lie detector test thing was so
Bullshit.
gross. And let me tell you something. When Emily said, who has this week, who has time? When she said, I think basically it was a setup,
Hmm.
who has time to do that? Girl, you had time to get a lie detector
Exactly.
person to come to the house. Whether, even if Katie failed it, even if it's all true and they all passed, it is gross
Hmm.
because y'all have literally amongst each other, but not to Tamara's face, called Tamara out for the same things
Exactly.
and haven't
Exactly.
gone this far. So to me, I always said if there was a grievance that they had, I don't mind lining them up and being like confronting
Hmm.
Katie because sometimes you need an example and to say, Katie, this is a pattern. You've done it with this person, this person,
Hmm.
this person, and
Hmm.
I get that. But though they're coming at it with a superiority that I don't like, as if that they're so far removed
Hmm.
from that kind of stuff. That's what I don't like. And it's like it feels kind of gross.
I completely agree. I completely agree. That's
Like,
my problem. Like I said, I believe she tells fibs. I've been calling the
but
police. That
can we
was a
also
bad.
talk can I also be superficial? She is so pretty.
She is. She's
She is
gorgeous.
just so pretty. But okay, go ahead. Sorry.
But also the things that they choosing to pick at her with, like with the Gina with the clothes and the wearing Asian designers and creative
Oh,
directors.
girl.
First of all, Gina, shut your Staten Island ass up. Okay?
Wrong
No,
road.
yeah, wrong motherfucking road, dummy. I'd heard about Staten Island. Ain't never been there, don't want to
Girl.
go. Okay, I've heard
I
about Staten Island. I don't think you should
our
be talking about you. She says she's wearing Asian designers and she's wearing whatever major label that had an Asian creative
yes.
director. Come on. And you
But
dress like
Zell,
shit, Gina.
if can't you be like they can design for different
Hmm.
fashion houses so she
Yeah.
could have on Balenciaga, but it be an Asian designer for
Yeah. That's
Balenciaga.
exactly that's what those stylists were talking about that made the video exposing
Oh yeah.
Gina, and they said you might want to try and hit us up again. Again. They said that. I said,
Which
"Oh, clocked.
girl, I
Clocked."
was so that to me, there was a part of me that was like, you know how we've said some people are more offended at the thought of being thought of as racist than being
Hmm.
racist.
Yes.
I can see if Gina felt like, oh my God, like, I don't never see it for this person, but Whitney from Salt Lake City at that reunion when Mary talked about them being racist, I believe Whitney when she was like, wait, what? Like, what have I
Hmm.
done? I could see if Gina came from that aspect,
Hmm.
but she can't because I will say this. Sometimes when you put things out on these platforms like that and it is not true, it's like,
Hmm.
girl, you didn't put this there. So I can see what she was trying to say, but for you to try to think you're clocking her
Hmm.
and then come at her is like, girl, wrong road. You don't come like that to me was so like, girl, simply mind your business.
Yeah,
If she said it, okay.
exactly.
But to be like, is that an Asian designer? And you're not even saying it like, oh my God, you said you were going to bring it. Is that like, who is that? I really like your style. You're saying it, is that an Asian design? Because we know that's how she
Yeah,
said
and
it.
it comes off gross. It comes off real gross. You know what I
Like,
mean?
girl, this
And
is the fifth season we see in your tracks. Get out of my
oh
face
my
talking about
God, it's so
designers.
bad. And you again, everything that Katie is involved with this season, as far as her fibs, they are basic housewife fibs. You know what I mean? You
Yes.
have Gretchen who is clearly lying, right? You
Girl,
have
she
Tamra.
lying.
Tamra that has been got up. So when we have these other liars, and that's what I don't like, when we are so focused on calling somebody else a liar, same way I felt about Bronwyn last season of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Yes, there are some things that Bronwyn said that don't add up. However, we are on Housewives. It is not uncommon for housewives to lie. It's just not, especially about the things that we're talking about. You know what I mean? The
Right,
fashions,
right.
the materialistic things. That's not uncommon.
Yeah.
So when we start
Their
picking and
whole
choosing,
lifestyles. The whole life.
exactly. When we start picking and choosing who we're upset about lying and who we're not, and it's always the person of color or the black person, that's when things get awkward. And that's what's happening here when it comes to the Real Housewives of OC ladies.
It's not a good look. I'm gonna tell you
It's
that.
not.
One thing housewives have yet to learn, no matter how, even how many people did not like Candace, and when they saw
Mm-hmm.
what was happening, they
Mm-hmm.
were like, "Yo, I don't like her, but this is So, one thing these housewives have yet to learn: we don't like pile-ons when we see
Mm-mm.
them,
Nope. We sure
even if
don't.
the person needs to be held accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Again, there's a way that they could have done that, but and then for her and Tamara to be cool now, when Tamara, you were one of the main people, I said, I think Katie's getting played. Katie got played by Gina last
Mm-hmm.
season.
Mm-hmm.
I think Katie is getting played. Tamara knows how to play the game. So she's
She
not going
does.
into the reunion on outs with being on outs with all these people.
Mm-mm. She's not.
And
Tamra
Katie was the easy get.
Tamara follows me on TikTok and I reposted something. I honestly I forget that Tamara follows me. I reposted something that was pretty much calling all of the Real Housewives of OC ladies dumb. And I think the word racist was used in it. And then Tamara liked the video because you can see when somebody that follow you both follow, she liked the video and then she
Oh,
reposted it herself and I was like, whoops. Well,
oh,
not
so are
whoops. I
you
don't give a
saying that
fuck.
you're not, but are you saying that you're not racist? And that's
I
how, oh, well, you
Tamra is
know,
all about optics and Tamra knows when shit
yes,
starts looking murky, but they need to much kind of like, Real Housewives of Miami, which we'll get into that in a second. You can tell when these women think that they're really onto something and they think that the audience, they're smarter than the audience and
yes,
they know how we are going to read something and then they're completely off. I don't know why they continue to do this shit. And then I saw
yes.
today that Gina apparently said if Katie is asked back next season, she doesn't know if she will come. First of all, again, wrong road, Gina.
Oh,
People
girl, and
have
she
been
walked it back.
people have been upset every season since you came on that it's been announced that you
Come
will
on.
be back. Every season. Don't do that.
Don't threaten us with a good time.
Don't do that.
And girl, she tried to walk it back.
Of course she did.
She
She need a
said it,
job.
and then
Is
she
she
was
selling a
like,
house?
"Well, I didn't necessarily mean."
Because she sold a
Let
house.
me take a sip on that.
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay. I
girl.
just
Do you know what's funny? You talk about Tamara following you on TikTok. Randomly, Gina started following me on Instagram, and I was like, she has not heard anything I've ever done regarding the OC. But buckle up, Buttercup.
she is just turning down
I
all the
said, all right,
wrong roads.
I'm gonna follow you back. As a matter of fact, I said I was gonna see if she was still following because I did say something about her. Well, I tweeted and then I posted it about you, this white woman, um, like the nerve of you.
Well, Taria, what they do to us is they then try to slide in our DMs and say, like,
Oh,
I'm
girl,
learning so much from you, and I just want you to know that I really appreciate you. I'm like, you know that we know what you're doing.
right. I always say when people who don't do this but like follow
Mm-hmm.
us, right? They'll
Mm-hmm.
say when they see housewives with podcasters or with bloggers, they say, because I do believe real relationships can be formed. And my
Yeah,
thing is, real relationships can be formed when you're not always talking about the show. If every
exactly.
time you talk to this housewife, they
Mm-hmm.
bring up the show, you like, girl.
Mm-hmm.
So I say people say that housewives should look out for meaning watch out for them. No, no, no,
It's the
baby.
other way around.
It's the other way around because they want us to spin a narrative a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
say a certain thing. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we're not dumb.
Absolutely. Like the first time it happens, you're kind of like, it's exciting. It really is. And
Yeah, you're like, whoa.
I feel badly for these podcasters who are like Bravo content creators that you can tell it's very easy to tell that they're being used, by
Yes.
these housewives. It was happening really bad on Jersey, when
Jersey.
Jersey was
And
still.
probably not getting paid, at least get a
Yeah.
coin off of it.
Yeah, it was happening really badly in Jersey. And I do feel that it's happened to a certain level in Salt Lake City, but
Yeah.
I also do think that in Salt Lake City they allow the podcasters to come in and be messy. And don't get me wrong, I do think that there are some podcasters, Bravo content creators that love to be in the drama and in
Yes.
because they but baby, you need to try out for the show. Okay. You
Because,
need
girl,
it never gives what y'all think that it's giving. It
who
never
said it?
quite gives. I'm not saying that there's because look, I would love to be on reality TV. If the right opportunity presented itself, I would love to be on reality TV. But I don't want my way to reality TV to
Yes.
be from being in housewife mess. I don't want my name attached to
Right.
that, but that's because I have other aspirations. Just to be clear.
Would Megan let you do Love Island? No, just kidding.
Hell no. Hell no. We've talked about the show like there's a list of shows that
Okay.
obviously that I but none of them are dating shows.
Okay.
No.
I told Corey we should make a funny video of Love Island after 40. And when he would bring me my breakfast in the morning, it would consist of vital collagens that I got to put in my coffee to make
Hmm.
sure I could use the bathroom, my vitamin D, like all the stuff that we have to do.
I would love to see a Love Island with
Me
like
too.
a more mature cast
Me too.
because over in the UK, you do have like 30-year-olds on the
Yes.
show. So,
Charlotte,
yeah,
season 10.
yeah, you have like 30-year-olds on the show, and it's not that uncommon. USA is always mainly strayed very young. You
Yes.
know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a different story for a different day. But I want to
Yeah.
ask you, how do you feel? Because we're having this large conversation, and just to be clear, Kiki's not the only Bravo podcaster, Bravo content creator that's involved in this Real Housewives of
Hmm.
OC drama. There's like 5 or 6 of them.
Yes.
What do you think of that? Because I've seen people be
I
like,
don't
"It's
want to
the
see y'all.
future." I don't either.
No, it is not the future.
It's not.
Create a reality show around bloggers and podcasters. That might be fun.
It might be, yeah.
However, we are supposed to report on the story, not
Mm-hmm.
be the story.
Yeah. And
Like we should,
yeah. I think that there's something you can talk to this as well because you've built your own platform and your own audience. There's something to be said about building your own audience that's not attached to a network that you're not on. Just to be clear,
that you're not
you're not
on,
getting paid by.
and you have to take the chance to use your voice and not be bought or sold or not be
Mm-hmm.
so scared. One thing I've noticed about YouTube, I don't know if you by the way, Zell has, I love her vlogs. She needs to do more. Her daily vlogs. I don't care if it's her getting up, brushing her teeth, talking about her day. I'm watching. Um, Meaning, like, you don't have to be doing anything
Mm-hmm.
special. Like, I need you to do
I
more of
always
those.
struggle
Just
with
saying,
that. I always struggle with that because I'm like, I'm really not, especially this time when I'm like unemployed. I'm like, I'm not freaking doing anything for real. But
you,
people, I mean, I watch people not do anything outside.
yes, and I will watch. I watch you, so like I need you to do more of those. I love the way you talk about mental health. I text you. I love. I could listen to you talk about anything. So about the, I was supposed to say something about the bloggers, right?
The blog.
Oh, I don't like it. I
Mm.
don't want to see this.
Yeah.
Like if I see a blogger, it might be uh, like I don't mind if you tweeted something
Hmm.
and it was like wild or like funny
Right.
or whatever, and then they bring it up on the show. Like, girl,
Right.
that
Hmm.
is fine, the
Right.
tweets or whatever. But them being a part of the storyline, putting on a mic pack, unless they become friends with these people and
Hmm.
they're now in their inner circle,
Hmm.
cool. Then that's your new thing. But I don't want to see it.
Like, I'm gonna say something controversial.
Say it.
Everybody brace themselves.
Okay, you know I love it.
I don't necessarily have a problem with Janet, the way Janet became friends with,
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Janet
yeah,
didn't have her own podcast, whatever. But yes, we all know Kristen calls Janet a fan. She was a fan. She was a fan. And I've
yeah.
said over and over, she needs to get over that being called a fan, right? she went up to Sheena. She saw her and she's like, I'm a fan of the show. They started hanging out. Whatever.
Yeah, that
I don't
happens.
think that, I really don't think that Janet went up to Sheena in order to get on a show. I think as a fan of the show, she saw Sheena,
Yes.
and I think she wanted to hang out with her because she was Sheena from Vanderpump Rules, and she wanted to be able to
Yes.
say, I'm friends with Sheena from Vanderpump Rules. And then when the show stuff started coming to fruition, it was like, okay, this is good too. Because when they
Yes.
became friends, the Valley wasn't even a thought.
A
It was
thought.
not
No,
even anything. You know
I
what I
used to
mean?
listen
So,
to Sheena's podcast and listen to when Janet was on there.
yeah.
I told you, I learned a hack for nausea from Janet when she was on Sheena's show. And it's whether it's pregnancy nausea, any type of nausea, it has worked for my husband. Every time it has worked for me. Keep salt, and I don't even like salt and vinegar chips. Keep salt and vinegar chips and Coke when you are sick, whether it's a hangover, whether you're nauseous from pregnancy or just nauseous, salt and vinegar chips and a Coke, you will
Really?
be good in minutes. Yes.
Really?
She talked about how her grandfather used to, I don't know if he was a fisherman or something, but used to be on little boats
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
it would cause nausea. And he discovered that. I learned that during the pandemic or maybe a little bit
Interesting.
before, and it works. Girl, the minute somebody feel nauseous, let me run to Wawa and get you
Mm-hmm.
the salt and vinegar chips
Interesting.
and Coke.
But
Yes,
yeah, I don't have a problem with Janet being on the show. Now,
me
to
neither.
Kristen's point of you changed since you've been on the show.
Mm,
You didn't used to act like that.
now
Okay,
that's different. Yeah.
that's different. But Janet actually being on the show, these people making friends, being on the show, that's, that is what it is. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I agree with you. The blogger of it all, and that, just like I feel the same way of us, like seeking out to break tea, right? Not like
Yeah.
you when you went to the courthouse and everything and was like boots on the ground. That, love it, love it, love that types of boots on the ground reporting. But then, like, people, I think it's more so when people try to push a narrative
Yes.
because they don't like somebody. And again, to me, that's
I don't
being
like that.
involved in the drama, right? Because it's
Yes.
like, oh, I know you're a tree hugger. So you're, and now you've got this tad bit of information. And same thing I felt when it was everybody against Lindsay Hubbard on Summer House. And there were a lot of bloggers involved in
We
that.
talked
Like,
about
I
that.
went
Yep.
to this event and Lindsay was mean to me. It's like, okay, well, how did you approach her? Like, what?
Right. And what kind of energy was she sensing?
Mm-hmm.
And has she seen some of the stuff you said about her? Then you know what?
Yeah.
Maybe she was.
Yeah. Literally. I mean,
Maybe
and
she
that's
was.
fine because they're humans, right? I think
Yeah.
that everybody has a right to be like, I don't really fuck with that person because what they said. And I don't think these Bravo people, they're not obligated to be nice to you just
No,
because.
they're human.
Hmm.
Love B. Scott. I have always kept this in the back of my head, or like when it comes to all this stuff. B.
The
Scott,
Mariah
when
Carey.
yes,
Yeah.
you already know what I'm gonna
Hmm.
say, and I'm gonna say it again. And I remind myself of this sometimes. For those of you that don't know, B. Scott is a huge blogger, much more than that. But and
Hmm.
I need the negative connotation of blogger to be
Yeah.
like it's y'all know we can get paid to do this stuff, right? So
Yeah.
like take the negative connotation out of it. B. Scott, up and coming, was on Twitter wanting to. They love Mariah Carey. Nick Cannon seen it, set it up, and Mariah Carey has become one of their best friends. And he made it. They made it very clear. And I don't mean to misgender because they go by
Hmm.
they.
Hmm.
Um, their pronouns are they. They said, I'm gonna just tell y'all right now. Y'all ain't gonna never get no tea because that is my sister.
Yeah.
She has become my sister.
Hmm.
So you will never get tea about my sister. I can respect that. I
I
think
can as
Mariah
well.
might be the only one
Hmm.
that was in that that box with it's
I keep that in
Mariah, of
mind too.
course.
I keep that in mind too. I knew exactly what you were saying. I keep that in mind too. I have not, I don't know. I don't have any relationship with any Bravo celebrity whatsoever, beyond like a few messages between like them
Mhm.
messaging me or following me. So I have no loyalty to anybody. But if that ever came into play, you know what I mean? That would be different. You have to have some morals when you do this. You have to have
Yes,
some integrity. It can't just all be about getting a screenshot on Bravo or getting a mic pack or getting, it can't be all about that. And for some people it
yeah.
is.
And I think though, me and you are the same in that I think the way we would handle it, let's say we were talking about Stephanie from Miami, since we're going to go there.
Mm-hmm.
We might say now, girl, don't nobody care about your plane. Shut up. Go on a Jet2 holiday. However,
Mm-hmm.
if we became friends, actual real life friends with Stephanie, we may say, Steph, you my girl. Come on now. Enough with the plane.
Mm-hmm.
So we're
Yeah.
gonna call it out. It just may be different.
Yeah.
And to me, that's fine. That's fine too.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can tell the ones you could tell when their loyalty in quotes shifts because they won't even call them out for anything. So
Ex-
I think you would be the type that would call her out still.
yeah.
Y'all know that's my girl, but girl, we're tired of hearing about your plane versus saying again, go on and you do it. Because I love the way you say it, Jet 2
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday.
y'all. I that and whenever I will find myself, and it's always Zell in my head, I find myself going, literally.
Literally? No, literally, I can't. Have you wait till you start picking up the Love Island lingo because
Oh
I
no,
will
crack on, okay,
crack on.
bugging.
Yep.
They say I'm buzzing. I'm absolutely
I'm
buzzing.
absolutely
Oh
buzzing right now, bro.
yes, tell me why I'm trying to add that lingo into my vernacular.
Oh, when they say literally, I can't be fucked. I can't be
Yes,
fucked.
wait,
I can't be asked.
and you're mugging me. I
Do I
was
look like a
like,
fucking mug? Do I look like a mug? Yeah. Oh yeah. I love
that
it.
is perfect. You sound like Meg from
I
last season. Oh my God. Because
I
that was
cannot.
all she kept saying because
My
of
name's
Dijon
Meg, not
mustard.
Mug. My name's Meg, not
Yeah.
Mug.
Girl, put that on a t-shirt.
I would be like, girl. Now, she came out that island, somebody did her hair, and I have to give them their tens. I listen, if I have
She
any
looks
UK,
good.
she does with that darker hair. There are so many blonde people in the world that if they toned their hair down, they would go from a 6 to an 8, I promise, but getting some white people away from the bleach, it's a task, okay?
Yes, because they
But
feel like that's the
oh
standard.
yeah, 100%, 100%. And I have no clue what it is with the UK girlies and layers, face framing layers. It drives me insane.
Girl, I said that her layer starts beneath her, right at her eyelid. Girl, I looked at her one day. She hadn't did her hair, and I said, "What did she just cut that in the fitting room? Like it? What? Like
It's so
all of
drastic.
the
It's either too like hers, like it's like no, like there's no flow in the face framing, or
yes,
they have like it's here and then there's none from here to
yeah."
here. And I'm just like, we need to take some of the weight out of
They're
those
supposed to
extensions
blend each.
because they're extensions, so they're gonna look heavier. And this doesn't. Oh God! But that's the old hairdresser in me coming out. But
Yes.
well, again,
And
okay.
I have
So
another, when we get to Love Island, I have a question about some of the black girls. Well, I'll wait until we get there.
I cannot wait to answer. Okay, so let's get into Miami. Since Bravo moved Miami from Wednesday to Thursday, and so now I watch it on Friday because I watch it on Peacock.
Yes.
I'm not gonna have my if you're watching this on YouTube, the Miami solo recap videos, they're just
Come
gonna be
on.
on the podcast because I record the
I said the
podcast
same
and
thing.
then like I can't do a video and well I could, but that's a lot of work, y'all. I want y'all to know
What
it's a lot of work.
with the Zoom, you just take your video in your MP4.
But I record those the singular recap videos on my
Oh,
vlog camera.
that's right. So,
Hmm.
okay, so that would be different
And I
than
take it
because
out
then
and
you'll
I
have to
edit
come here.
those. Yeah. Yeah. So they're going to be combined in one.
Okay.
We
Okay.
have taken a turn. I'm happy that we've gotten away from the Julianne Gertie of it all because the first part of this season, oh, I wasn't rocking with it. I said they better clean it up real fucking quick.
Zell, I'm happy and not happy because
Hmm.
I'm happy they moved on from it, but I don't like how they moved on
I
from it by just
agree.
letting her slide. So
I
it's like,
agree.
I'm glad this isn't every week because I couldn't take it, but also the
Hmm.
way y'all just let her slide on that is like,
I feel like she won't be back next season. But did you
ooh,
see
please.
Brooke, our good girl, Brooke Ashley? She went to the Direct TV. Did you
Yes.
see what she said that she had that talk with Alexia?
Yes. And Alexia said that see, there's a part of me because I told Brooke, I said, I trust you, Brooke.
I do too.
You're
I
not
trust
gonna
Brooke.
see what's wrong.
Hmm.
Then there's also a part of me that's like, is Alexia doing it for the fans, or do you really believe what you're saying?
I think, and listen, it's far from me to be giving Alexia any type of break. But
I know what you
one,
mean. Yeah.
Alexia, so Brooke said that Alexia said that there was a whole scene that was filmed that she invited Gertie to the beauty bar after the drink throw happened and
Yes.
was like, I want to check on you. I want to make sure you're okay, da da da. And we didn't see it. I think that what I can, and I will say this, I can see from a producer's perspective why maybe they wouldn't, because what, like, in the grand scheme of the story,
Yeah.
where did it fit? You know what I mean? I
Yes.
still
With the story
think
they're trying
that
to tell.
I
Yeah.
still think that it would have been nice to see. I really
Yeah.
do. But that doesn't take away from the fact that even moving on after Gertie put the messages on the wall,
Girl, yes.
Alexia still was, hounding her. And Gertie said, you guys are overreacting to these messages more than you did about the drink throw. And I feel like I'm,
Yep.
so I do think that it could have been nice to see that happened. I don't know. I don't know. Listen, I'm talking about like I know about a producer. I edit my own vlogs and I just cut some stuff out. All right. But
I know what you mean. Yeah.
when she said that, I was like, I can see maybe it just didn't really fit, but it would have been nice. I feel like we saw so much of Julia, oh, Martina, Martina, I don't know. Oh my God.
Yes. Yeah. Girl,
And we
the
saw,
way,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
but the way
Mm.
she had the nerve to tell Martina, and I guess Russell was on Gertie's side because I tried to talk to him. Are
It
you insane?
It
That
makes
incensed
me
me.
it makes me irate, and y'all know here on the Who Asked Me podcast, I do not trust men, but one man you can rest assured I'ma always be in his corner is fucking Russell Abria. That's a good
Same,
man.
same,
That's
same,
Russell
same,
ain't playing with him. Okay, I'm
same.
always Team Russell.
I
Always.
said, no, she did because she didn't get the reception that
I
she thought
and
she should get.
let's call it what it is. You thought that you could go to her husband, a white man,
I
right?
was girl, Zell,
White
thank
person, a
you,
white
thank you,
person,
thank you.
and he was
Ooh,
gonna. I said,
ooh,
"What?" I said, "This delusion runs deep because that is her husband, and we all know Russell don't play about Gertie. Russell
thank
don't
you
play
for
about
saying
Gertie."
that. Thank you for saying that. I literally had that thought. I said, "Oh, she doing it because he white," and she thinking that above all else, they're gonna be on the same team.
It really
No, ma'am.
it reminded me of how like my mom's husband would handle, because my mom's husband is very, very quiet, the same way Russell is. And you might like when you see them at first, you might not like really like you're just kind of like interesting pair, you know what I mean? Because he's
Hmm.
so quiet, even when
Quiet.
everybody else is talking. Not like the intimate family, obviously, but like
I know what you mean, but
you know
yeah,
what I
if
mean.
you're out, yeah,
He's just like Russell. He's an observer. He's everything. But if you come anywhere near me, my mom, my brother, any of our family, you will be corrected,
yeah,
and it's
yeah,
not gonna be like we would do a blah blah. But just like Russell did, you need to be respectful. Be
yeah,
respectful. Don't
and
when he says something, he means it.
he means it. And the way
Hmm.
Jody tried to act like there was a comparison, boo,
Okay, I'm gonna
there
say
was
this.
no.
Okay, hold on.
Okay,
I got, I understood what Jody was trying to say. I understood what Jody was trying to say.
right,
I
okay,
gotta, because I think I'm the outlier here. I when I was struggling, right? Because I was like, "Ooh, why is Jody texting Larsa?" But then, one, we have a whole bunch of lost footage of whatever took place in
yes,
that elevator. And no one wants
yes,
to really say it, but everybody's saying like, "You guys got you whatever happened in the elevator." It's very clear that everybody agrees that Larsa was in the wrong.
yes,
Everybody agrees that Larsa was in the
and
wrong.
won't say it and keep trying to say
Exactly. That is
you guys
so
need to.
annoying.
That is
It's
pissing me
so
off.
annoying. But I do believe that Larsa and Jody had a texting relationship when
I
her and
I, I
Marcus were
agree.
still together.
I
And
agree.
so I understand to go from we have had a texting relationship before. And
Hmm.
you come into my birthday party, you call my girlfriend a bitch, right? You are whatever happened in Milan because we don't know that. And then
Yeah.
you are talking about me. You are showing a photo of me to a group of
Oh, I
people,
agree. Yeah,
zooming in
yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
eyes. So And once we learned that he was just like Larsa, I don't want to have a you and Lisa are close. I don't want to have a problem with you. And we said that we were
Yes.
going to squash it. When I sat back and I thought about all of these things, I said, you know what? I don't have a problem with him texting her.
Oh, me
Now that
neither.
I
I
know
never had a
what was
problem
said.
with him
And
texting
I
her.
think
Same.
what he was
Same.
trying to say was that he was trying to do the same thing. Like he was
Got you.
trying, I think
Okay.
he was like, he was, because I had to think back to that. Larsa was like, why is Russell yelling at me? Larsa had the same response. You know what I mean? So I think
Right.
Gertie, or I think Jody was trying to say, like, just like Russell did last year, told her, like, calm down. I'm telling her, hey, cut this out. That's how
Right.
I
And
took
so
it.
why is mine any word? Right. And mine
Yeah.
is through text. I agree with you. I don't like this whole narrative that people seem to put out. Men shouldn't address women. If I'm friends with a man and me and him
Mm-hmm.
get into it, if Corey's friends with him too, and we all get into it as friends,
Exactly.
that's one thing. He ain't got to speak to my husband when that's my friend.
And
So, like you
Lars,
said,
yeah,
they text before. He can text you, "Hey,
Larsa has a problem because these men keep coming correct
yes,
over their women, and she don't have a man to come correct. Because I just said this on my TikTok. Because when Marcus tried to back her, he got real nasty with it, and he wanted to be a housewife. Okay,
yes, yes, you're
he wanted
right.
to be a
Yes, yeah."
housewife.
Yeah,
It,
these women couldn't even clean that. What are these that couldn't clean their floors or couldn't clean?
yeah, that was not how you do that. And no one was Larsa. Oh, Lord, no, this is not a safe space for Larsa. Okay,
It
this
is
is
not. Let
not
me
a.
tell you something. She's walking around. I said, they ain't. Larsa couldn't say air thing
She could
to
not.
me when we can literally see the words trying to form in your brain, which is the only part of her body that she should have got inflated, her brain, and not anything. I can't stand. And the way when she was like last week, Alexia, tell her to shut up. Girl, no one has dragged you. And that's the problem.
If Kim
Lisa was
Kardashian
trying to a little
wakes up
bit.
tomorrow and decides she wants to talk about Larsa fucking Pippen, it's a wrap, baby. It's a
It's
wrap.
a wrap. Yeah, Larsa acts so big and bad, but you ain't open that mouth when it came to the Kardashians. You was
Oh, I'm
hush.
sure they put an NDA on her. A lot of people, I haven't watched the Kardashians, oh, God knows how long. A lot
Me
of people
neither.
have told me in my DMs, like, she was really nasty on the Kardashians too, and that I guess Courtney and Chloe didn't care for her on there. I didn't know. I didn't know. I was like,
Me
oh, this is news
neither.
to me. So I listen, I could not,
Wow.
we all know I could argue with the best of them, and I can keep. I just got into it with a bitch last week at the bar. Okay, I really did. And people was like, Giselle, stop, 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 stop. I can keep going. I think Larsa arguing with Larsa would make me just be like, you got it, you got it,
Right.
darling,
It
because
would
you
either
don't make
that or snatch.
exactly because you like it is so it's painful to me. You're not smart.
Yeah.
She's not
Yeah.
fucking smart. When she
Or
called Lisa a groupie,
girl, out of everybody, when we know how you get down,
I was like, you are yelling at me.
am
You're
I
calling me
watching
a
this?
groupie because I still
Right.
follow Scottie Pippen,
Right.
and Marcus Jordan.
But also,
You were fucking them.
we don't value, I have other things in life that I value. That's where your value lies. So of course you're noticing that. I'm not thinking about who I'm following,
I'm
who
not
I'm not
either. And
following.
anybody who listens to this podcast, I've explained week after week. I did not
I mean,
unfollow.
if I'm Lisa, like I'm not
Yeah.
even thinking
I
about
don't
like,
think because if you don't engage with them, then they really
right.
don't show up on your stuff. I said on this podcast last week that one of my ex-husband's friends, I didn't engage with them anymore. So I really forgot that I followed him, and then he popped back up on my
Oh yeah.
stories, and it wasn't even like really in the forefront of stories. I was just going through stories bored, and then all of a sudden my ex-husband pops up and I was like, "Oh." And I said, "What the fuck is this?" I was like, "Why am I looking at him?" And I said, "Oh, that's so and so story." I was like, "Damn, I forgot I followed him." So I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna unfollow him.
Yes,
I don't really want
of
to like." It
course.
was him and his girlfriend, and I was like, "I don't really want to see them," and
Right.
I don't talk to this person anymore, so I'm gonna unfollow them. But I didn't do that until I saw. I didn't seek it out. You know what
Right.
I
You didn't
mean?
go, you had a thousand other things above that.
Yeah, I
Like
didn't
I
seek it
said,
out.
with Larsa, if I argued with her, I would turn into a person that God
Hmm.
wouldn't be proud of.
Yes,
Because
I,
I'm going school. I'm talking about your mama, your
hmm.
daddy, your dog, your kids. Like if I,
I
maybe
don't,
not your kids, because I have kids
I
too.
don't have any respect for Larsa because my mom, I'm not a mother yet, but my mom always told me she can, for example, I'll use my dad's side of the family. She can beef with somebody, right? And that can be amongst them. But if you, she always said, if you treat my children with kindness,
Yes,
I can keep a level of, maturity and everything
that's
like
how I
that.
am.
That's up.
Yes.
But if you treat my kids with not kindness, you treat my children differently, which, my dad's side of the family did, then it's on, bitch. Okay. I ain't got nothing for
Yeah.
you. The way Lisa treated Larsa's son when they were both in that fashion show and in the way he responded to Lisa as well. That
Yes.
was really
Yes.
embarrassing for Larsa. It really
Yes.
was.
It was totally what like, and the way Lisa tried to keep him calm, like, are you okay? Are you like that? That right there shows you what kind of person that
Mm-hmm.
Lisa truly is outside of all this other stuff. Like
Yeah.
at the heart of her, that's who she is. Yeah,
And her
absolutely.
her son literally told her, "Mom, I don't want any of this to be. I just want to stay
And she kept
focused." And
going.
she kept going. And Lisa is the one saying, "Sorry, I'm sorry" to her son. Like, we don't need
Yes.
to talk about this right now. But Lisa or Larsa just keeps going. And then that whole I'm investing in my kids so they can take care of me one day. I was like, "Okay, girl, I see why they live with Scotty. I see
Yeah,
why they live with Scotty."
girl, what all of them pretty much,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
All of
girl,
them.
there is no way I would be dragged. I said, Larsa, you walking around here looking like a double-legged toothpick.
Hmm.
How dare you? Like, there is nothing that you'd be able to say to me. Like, you talking about they'd have to bleep every other word.
Hmm. For
Girl,
real. For real.
girl.
Let's get into Stephanie, obviously. I will say this. As much Stephanie's very annoying. Very, very annoying. But she's good in this group. She's good in this
Yeah,
group. And I think when we lose Julia next year, because we will be, I'm putting that out in the universe, we will be losing Julia
I'm
next year.
manifesting that with you. Okay.
Okay? We will. I'm not doing this again. Right? I think she is gonna be good again for ushering in. I like that she doesn't have a problem having a problem with anybody. Do I agree with her when she
Yes.
has a problem? No, I don't.
But I don't mind it because
Right.
I was like that too. I'm like, as much as you're annoying, keep your foot on Alexia's neck, please. As
And
much as
Marisol.
and Marisol, girl, listen, ooh. You can see the wheels starting to turn in her head, like, and I'm not gonna lie. I was laughing to the point of crying when she was getting into it with them last week, the week
Hmm.
before last, and Alexia says, "Don't look at me, don't look at me." And she said, "I'm sorry, I have a problem when I have to when the twins aren't together and I
I
have to look different
the,
place." I said, "Eat them up."
it was a good argument. I do think that whatever her family shit, she is very triggered by
Yes.
those two. I didn't know her sisters were twins. I didn't know her sisters were twins. Somebody came in my DMs and explained it to me, and then they were like, "Yeah,
Oh,
she said it in this episode." I went back, they're twins.
so that
She
makes
is
sense.
very, very triggered by the twosome that is Alexia and Marisol, and then whatever is going on with her and her sisters. And I understand why her
Yes,
sisters probably don't talk to her because
I said the same.
she has a problem with nuance, and I think that she has a problem getting over things because all of last week, I was like Stephanie, but I will give her this. So last week she was like, "Am I bossy? Am I bossy? And you don't want to be on the plane, or are you too tired?" The trip has been a lot. Everybody is arguing. And
Yes,
now and since this group keeps getting together and having these big blowout arguments, and you have made the rule for the plane that's no arguing or you're going to get left,
yes,
we are going to stay back, relax. Hopefully, when we come back together, there will be less arguments. Like all of that can exist in one. However, when she was talking to Marisol this week, I said, okay, I can give her this when she was talking to Marisol and she's like, I got into the car with you all after that dinner, and you
yep,
were telling me you spoke for me and Alexia. Me and Alexia agree with you wholeheartedly, blah, blah, blah. And then you're sitting there saying, oh, we need to separate everybody on the plane,
yep,
blah, blah. And they were in agreement with that. And
yep.
then when she started saying stuff that they didn't agree with, they did not speak up.
That
They
was
did
my whole.
not speak up. So then the next thing, all she hears is, they're not coming on the plane because they think I'm too bossy. And it's like, what? So I will
And
give her
she
that.
hears that, but then she also hears, "Oh, I just needed a mental
I
health
will
day."
give her,
So
I will
which
give her
one
that.
is it? Yeah,
Uh,
I was with her. Like, if
mhm.
it's both, say it's both. But Alexia is putting it to me like it's a mental health day. Meanwhile, Julia tells me she talked to y'all
Yeah.
and y'all didn't like my the way I was talking about my plane or whatever. If it's both, say that. I
Yeah.
understood her frustration with that.
Yeah, yeah, I can understand that, right? And I can understand the frustration with somebody like Marisol who speaks and then she's like her and those goddamn pet names. Because
Girl,
what did
she
she
called.
call
I
her?
forget did she call her? Oh my gosh, I forget. I
She
can't.
rarely calls anybody by their name. It's I'm like, are you too goddamn drunk? Because it's always Keeks and Monkey and
She called her
what did she
something.
call her?
I
Something
cannot remember.
Pipsqueak or something like that, or
Yeah.
something
And
like a
it's like,
small.
that's
Yeah,
to brush the argument out of the way. And it's like, girl,
yeah.
I still see you. I
Yeah, she's
see
like, I
you.
want to be your friend. I'm like, you probably agree when us Aries if we are
Don't
talking about something,
don't do
do
that.
not be like, well, I like you and I want to be your friend. We're not talking about that right now. We're not talking about that right now.
We're
We are talking
talking
about
about
this
this.
isolated incident. And if I like you too, I will tell you, yeah, I enjoy you as well. However, for me to continue to enjoy you, we need to get this
We
out of
have
the
to
way.
discuss this. Yeah.
We need to get
Because
this out
I'm
of the way.
getting two different stories from you
Hmm.
and Alexia.
Yeah.
That's my issue. And I don't think she understands with her sisters. It could be, I heard somebody say this and it was so good. We as humans have filters.
Hmm.
So when you love, maybe you said this. When you love, I think it was you.
Yeah.
When you love someone, yeah, you
You don't
said
want to
it. You
say,
said
you
that so
don't want to,
good.
yeah, you don't want to say, my mom, I always use my mom. My mom, me and my mom don't argue often. But when it's getting there, she takes a pause, we'll start da 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 da, da, and she'll say, okay, well, I love you. I'm gonna go ahead and get off this phone now. And that's the cue because it's not uncommon to have feelings like of stress and anger or
Yes.
whatever towards somebody that you love because you love them, you spend the most time with them. And it's not uncommon to talk to other family members or other
Yes.
people in the group and say like, this is really stressful. Like, how do you read it? I don't think there's
Yes.
anything wrong with that. And like I said, I'm the youngest. Okay. I know that there have been a couple family conversations about my attitude before, and I'm not, and about how to approach me. And that's fine. That doesn't bother me. Right.
Yeah, yeah,
If
because
you,
it's not like they're kicking your back in.
right. I had a friend group that the girl, she was like, I don't know. I want to talk to Giselle about this. I don't know how to approach her. And that was the crux of the conversation. Now, what she continued to say after that, to one of our other friends, the other friend was like, First of all, Giselle is the center here. She is both of our friends. I am not your friend. Okay.
I know
So
that's right.
she was like, I understand you wanting like help on how to approach Giselle with this, but now you've crossed a line and what you continued to say about her, thinking
Yeah.
that you're comfortable. Like you opened that up the right way, but then you went too far left. Okay.
Thought you and thought you was comfortable. Yeah.
Right. You went too far left. I don't think that it's always, oh, if I didn't say this to their face immediately, it's talking shit. Because
Yes.
someone like me, sometimes I need to process some things with somebody. Somebody like me, if I say it to your face, right then, right there, we will not be going back.
I was gonna say there's no going back from that. I loved
Mm-mm.
when you said that. You said, and there's like a part, like basically like I forget what word you use, but like, let me stop for a minute so I can express that I'm upset with you, and I may
Mm-hmm.
walk away and say this is bothering me to a friend or to whomever, because you don't want to hurt that person. But
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie can't get that. It's like, no, no, you're talking about me, and it's like, no, no, no. I don't want to go to the point of no return. So like
Right.
even in a relationship, you could be
Mm-hmm.
arguing with your partner and you're like, let me take a
Mm-hmm.
minute because I don't want to say something or whatever. And you may say to your friend, I'm like you said, I'm not sure how this is what happened, but it's not like, oh, you're wrong because you didn't say it right then. So when you said that, I was like, yes, that is exactly it with Stephanie.
Exactly. And she doesn't get it. And it is now she is materialistic. She does say the price of things. She does throw that stuff in your face. You know what I mean? And she does do things like she can't let stuff go. She's way more sensitive than she leads on. She is
Yes.
way more, and again, I'm talking from somebody who has been there, right? Where I'm like, I don't give a fuck,
Yes.
blah, blah, blah. But she is way more
Yes.
sensitive than she leads on because when she heard Marisol and Alexia weren't coming on the plane and that, they felt
She
XYZ, she
couldn't,
started tearing up.
and then
When
she couldn't help herself
Mhm.
on the plane and say, I just want to
Exactly.
say, I was like, oh, she couldn't
Exactly.
help herself.
She is way more sensitive than she leads on. And it's very interesting to me that I think she's doing a good job as her. Again, I don't agree with her most of the time here, but
Right.
she
But
is
yeah,
doing a good job as a housewife, whether we
she's
like her or
getting in
not.
there. Yeah.
She is. She's
And
getting in there.
I will give her this week when her friend told her, because I said,
Hmm.
oh, they didn't have a conversation. Maybe not with her, but her friend sees it too.
Hmm.
Maybe this group is good for you.
Hmm.
Maybe, but you could see her really trying when she was talking to Marisol. And Marisol was like, well, you do name the price of things. You could see her like,
Yeah.
okay. Like she
I
was
think
really trying to take it in.
I think she's a person that okay, you know how we talk about Erica Jane and how when she knows all these things and she can have all these conversations because she was always around men and blah blah blah.
Yes.
Erica Jane picked up a different way to be, and then Stephanie is over here. She's picking up like the very surface level way because that's what men do.
Yes.
Oh, you see that Range Rover? Oh, that golf club, $900 for that. Blah 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 blah.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's how she picked it
Yes.
up,
Yeah.
and I'm
I could
like,
see that.
mm-hmm,
And it made sense how she's saying I work with men, but it's like the same way you want people to accept that that's you, you have to
mm-hmm.
accept that these are these people. So if y'all are going to come together, like it's got to be a coming together.
Yeah.
Like each of us agree to work on. But I loved Stephanie, even though it was crazy. It was like annoying, but I was also like, yes, when she was on Alexia's neck, because nobody gives it to Alexia. Like I feel like they should.
Dr. Nicole did. So
Oh
that's
yes,
why
that's yes,
that's
yes,
why I also enjoy her being there
yes,
because we are missing the void with Dr.
yes,
Nicole.
we
And
are.
it felt like, you know, they try to I feel like they try and act like Nicole was never there. With the
Yes,
way this season, do you feel like that?
yes,
They're
I
like, "Oh,
certainly, and it's
you
like
don't get it. This group." And I'm like, baby, no. When Nicole was here, she was on y'all's necks and y'all
yes,
was
she was.
acting like she was the
And they couldn't
worst
take
thing.
her. They
Mhm.
could not take her. And I feel like I don't like to use the word jealousy a lot or even,
Mhm.
but it was like because she was secure in her own right,
Mhm.
she didn't kiss the ring. She didn't bow down to them, and they
Mhm.
could not stand that. Like when Marisol had that conversation with Gertie and was like, Kiki said you told us, you felt like we were in a cult. Do you even want to be in this group? I said, I know what y'all are doing
Yeah, exactly.
to say that. So now you have Stephanie being like,
Mhm.
oh no, I see what I've never been a fan of Marisol.
Oh no,
I've
I haven't.
never been a
And
fan.
you know how our good friend Raven feels about Marisol. If Marisol has no haters, Raven is gone.
Raven is gone. Our baby
Okay,
Raven has gone to be with the Lord.
because
If yes, yes,
she hates her. One last thing, I want to go back to Jody really quick before we move on to Love Island. I also it like Bing to me when I said this on TikTok too. They keep meeting Lisa with I think like the past two season Lisa, right? Who's been very
yeah.
dramatic and been very but she is lighter. She is like I have even felt it this season. She is
Mhm.
lighter. She is trying to make that's why I'm like when Larsa's like, I don't want to argue with her, so she needs to stop arguing with me. I'm like, no, you're arguing with her.
With
Because Lisa
her,
is literally, she may be late, but she's been around y'all for 12 years and you've never
yes,
said anything about it. There and when she's messing with them at the dinner table and she's like, "Oh, you're late and you're late." And they're like,
yes,
you have more work to do." That is the opportunity for y'all to be like, "Lisa, my love, we love you so much and I know you've always been like this, but at this point it just gets to a point, right?"
yes,
But what also clicked in my mind when Jody was talking to her when he was talking, he said, we don't have any problems. He was like, first it was Lenny, and now it feels like
yes.
it's this group and it's the friends. What he's saying is it's the show. And we
It's
know
the show.
Todd just put that fucking 9-minute video
Let
on
me tell you something.
Instagram
I was with Todd.
saying the same thing that he could not, it's the show that he could not deal with.
Yes. Yes. And
And
the
I
way that they're trying to, the way that Larsa's trying to paint him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at his crazy eyes and look at
Yeah.
this. And it's like, there are going to be people
Mm-hmm.
that go to the left
Mm-hmm.
with that.
No, don't get me wrong. Todd showed his ass when he was on the show. He
Now
showed
that he
his
did do,
ass.
that he did.
Him and Alexia showed their asses. But I
But
understand if
do
I didn't
you?
sign up for this, that
Yes.
everything that I do is on display now. And I've gotten into an argument with one of your coworkers' husbands on camera because that's kind of what we're supposed to do. And now I'm being
Girl.
painted, sir. I.
And then for him to say that he never left Frankie by himself. And you notice Alexia never had that conversation with Frankie on camera
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like Frankie would have been like, that's not what happened. And then to come out and say he's been paying for Alexia, Frankie, and Peter. I said,
I don't. And see, here's the thing. I was watching that, I had to watch it on 2 times speed. I'm like, Todd, baby, get to the point. Get to the
yeah,
point. Get to the point. Um, I was like, okay. At first, I was like, okay, whatever. He's doing what he was supposed to be doing. But I think because we're so used to, the Simons and the men getting with these
yeah,
women and then leaving them and trying to do, I, I'm not gonna like give him a super applause for doing like what's pretty much pretty basic in a
yeah,
divorce of that nature. But I did say, okay, to myself, I'm like, okay, Zell, it is worth like commending because you don't, he was trying to do the right
yeah.
thing.
I don't need to take care of your grown son,
No, he
Peter.
doesn't. Pete, no, especially
Like,
not one that was cussing at me in my house.
and
Okay.
then because I went back and forth too. I'm like, a lot of times we get on these men, like these men out
Mm-hmm.
here talking. But I said, if it were me and an entire narrative was being painted
Yeah.
about me that wasn't true,
Mm-hmm.
now I'll tell you who later. But somebody had told me that like it's 100% true what he was saying. Like they believe every word.
Oh, I believe the words.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Somebody on the Miami street beat.
Okay, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later. Okay,
I
let's.
said, oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm also interested to see this reunion because
Me
Kiki
too.
blocking Gertie. I need to know what's going on there.
Have you watched some of her interviews? I
Mm-mm.
have seen she's been on a press tour and what she's her answer has changed different times. But basically she said, me and Gertie were fine until the episode started airing and she saw the audience. And so she went to the side of the audience because the audience was trying to call me. I said, no, she saw you running back, telling them what she being her op.
I Kiki, Kiki,
Girl, when
Kiki,
she
Kiki,
said that,
Kiki. When she
I
said,
said,
yeah, well, I would have a huge problem if I about that short scene of Gertie feels like y'all are a cult, and I don't know what a cult is. I don't, you know what a cult is.
you
You know what
know
a cult
what?
is.
I don't even want to say, oh, I'll say it offline, girl, because
You
I
know
want
what
to
a
be
cult
like,
is.
you know
Don't.
what a cult is. Don't play.
Don't start. I would be pissed off about that as well. And if you can't, Kiki, like she's always trying to just be like, okay, whatever, okay, whatever. And I get that that can be people's personality, but I
Hmm.
wasn't fond of. And I also think that when your adrenaline is running, because I've been in fights before, you
Hmm.
know, I
Yeah.
completely understand also when that drink throw happened. We saw Gertie was sitting there in shock, like she was,
Yes.
you know what I mean? And I read that as like, I'm sure she heard nothing around her. I'm sure she
Yes.
saw black and she was just like,
And you're battling with yourself. What do
and
I?
Kiki is saying, why did she sit there? She should have got up and walked
Girl,
away. She should have. That's not Gertie siding with the audience. That is you, me finally seeing hindsight is 2020. And what we get with being able to watch these shows back and these
come
incidences
on.
back is 2020. So now I am seeing how my supposed friend acted in this moment, and I don't like it.
And she's even gone on further and said on Carlos King's podcast that
Oh, I did hear a clip from that.
she didn't like Gertie didn't want me to talk Haitian to her.
I'm gonna stay out of Haitian business. I don't know. I
That's
don't
to
know.
me. That's I said. Girl, you're lying. And it is interesting how Gertie's the one, she had to admit, Gertie's the one that they met on social media.
Hmm.
And Gertie slid in her inbox, was like, "Oh my God, you're fabulous. You're this, you're that." And Gertie invited her to her 40th birthday party. I think Gertie's now 47. So they have known each other. Um, and then she said when the show came around, like they weren't like talking a lot,
Hmm.
but then when the show came around, she was like, "You need to apply for this. You're fabulous. You're this." And she was like, "No, no, 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 no." Season one, it was her title card said Gertie, said Kiki,
Kiki,
Gertie's
Gertie's
friend.
friend.
And then
Hmm.
all of a sudden it switched
Hmm.
to Larsa's friend. And I was
Yeah,
like, Kiki, don't make me side eye you. Are you one that wants to be the only one? And and I was with Adriana. Now, first of all, Adriana, you you said exactly what you meant.
I think
You said exactly what you meant.
because yeah, because I agree, Tariq, because
What
I
what
do.
producer came in your room and told you
When she
you need
said
to clean this
ratchet,
up
I didn't think wretched. I
at
thought,
all?
what a weird. I said, why would she say ratchet out of
And
all words?
unless they cut it, because she said she went to her room and was like, "What did I say that was so bad?"
Hmm.
Unless they cut it, if we're all at a table and you said something and my reaction, you would be like, "Wait a minute, what do you think I said?"
Exactly. That's why. That is why, Taria, I was like, no, I think she said ratchet and she meant ratchet, and now she's
She
trying to
meant
walk
it.
it back.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if I used a word like what did they say on Love Island UK? Because Tony was on there this season and she's American.
Oh,
She said something and they all were like, what?
oh, I can't think of the word, but I know
What
exactly
was
what you're
it?
talking about. Yes, I know exactly what you're
It
talking
means
about. And
something
she
completely different
be
over
different.
there. And they were like,
Yes.
what did you just say? And she's like, da
Yeah.
da da. And they're like, that's not
Yes.
what that means here. Yeah. So that's why I was like, if she didn't mean ratchet, why was she not more like, why are you so upset about me using that
Yes.
word?
She just sat there. So I said, that's how they talk when we, and I mean we, aren't
Mm-hmm.
around. That she
Mm-hmm.
meant that. Like she literally meant that. Like I didn't agree. But I agreed with Adriana when she said in the after show, Kiki was moping that whole day, and it
Mm-hmm.
was because she felt like she wasn't with the cool girls. And I said, I can definitely see that. She said to the whole day, Kiki was just like blah, like, and you
Mm.
could tell she didn't want to be with that group. And remember when they went to dinner, I started looking at
Oh.
how Kiki was at dinner, and she was like, I just don't understand why we all can't be together. I want to be with this friend and this friend. It's like, nah, you want to be over there. But they don't look
Ah.
at you like that, baby. Like you're in the main group.
Ah. Got that makes sense. That makes
Right? And
sense.
I was like, oh, Adriana, you on to something. And she was like
Adriana be
tired, like,
clocking it.
yeah,
Adriana
she
be
do.
clocking it.
Yeah. I thought it was very vulnerable of her to talk about aging and how she not even like she's not even trying to fake the funk. She was like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. And then
Mm-hmm.
when she related it to her exes
Yeah.
getting with someone younger, I was like, wow, she's really being vulnerable in this moment. When the truth of the matter is Julia should have went to Adriana's, whoever did her. Julia looks like the Joker with that
Okay.
smile. Girl, and that hair this week, I
Adriana's
said,
hair. You just took the words right out of my mouth.
I said she
Them
get
tracks. I said, what? What?
between the tracks and
In the
that's
French roll.
girl. I said
I
she want to be
said,
a housewife so bad. You're not.
I said, what the fuck is going on with her hair?
That's
Because first of all, when you have a blunt bob, when you have a blunt cut, period, but when you have a blunt bob, you cannot just put 16 inches worth of hair
oh,
in your head that's a different color, mind you. I know what they were trying to
yes.
do. They were trying to make, and that's why she had them little twisty to them braids too.
Yes.
But it still was not giving. She has a blunt bob.
Like, what's wrong with a bob? Something.
Something, very much something. Okay. Zoop. Okay, one last thing before we get out of here. I have
Okay.
Taria watching the Love Island
I'm
UK
reclaiming my
season
time,
10.
like Rep Max, like Auntie Maxine Waters.
I have her watching Love Island UK season 10. And
Yes.
if y'all know, that is one of my favorite seasons. It's in my top 5, but I wanted to discuss. I didn't give Taria a lot of spoilers, but I got her a little up to date on what's going on with Whitney. So I talked about it last week on the pod. As y'all know, Whitney and Locken have broken up. They went their separate ways, and now Locken is suing Whitney in high court over in the UK for defamation. And Locken, now y'all know who you listen to this podcast. I have always been Team Whitney. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. That does not mean that she is perfect, but I just think that she is unfairly judged in a very, very, very harsh way. Locken got online this week and made his case. I'm telling you, there were people that were on his side that were like, well, hold on, hold on. Why did you come here and say all of this? So, lot people are saying,
Wait, did
why
she
did
meet him in the villa? Will I
mm-hmm,
see that?
yeah, you
Okay.
will. You people are like, why would she date him? I just want to say this. A lot of times there, much like we were saying with the Real Housewives of Orange County ladies earlier, we are now to a point where people are more offended by being called racist
Yes.
than actually taking a look at their actions. Because mind
Yes.
you, Whitney never called Locken racist. She said that there were ignorant things said. But when you cannot, in the day and age that we live now, when you cannot recollect with yourself that you said something insensitive without going all the way to, they're calling me racist, that is a
That because
problem. And
how
then
do you jump that far?
taking it to court.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
you can't determine what's ignorant to me may not be ignorant
Mm-hmm.
to you, but it's ignorant and I have a right to say that. And
Mm-hmm.
to me, people that automatically jump to the, are you calling me racist? Are you this? You might
Now,
want to.
hello. There was a few comments, not a lot, but there was a group of comments of white people being like, he has a right to sue her. Us white people are under attack. Anybody can call us
Girl,
racist and
girl,
we deserve
girl.
to defend ourselves. I was like, I'm
They are
speechless.
under attack now.
You think being called racist is worse than actual racism?
And the black people or the people of color, the brown people who face it.
And here's the thing, at the end of the day, everybody is going to say something that is offensive. How
Yes.
you deal with being offensive is on you. And suing
Is
somebody
crazy.
because that's crazy. And suing somebody you used to be in a relationship with.
And you're going to all these lengths to prove what? That you're not racist? Like,
Mm-hmm.
are you suing every person that comes online and on an online platform says things about you, sir?
And it all was sparked because he did a video with another black, I don't even want to say another black woman. I believe this woman to have been mixed race, black and something else, because she she was not she was not full black.
Okay.
I don't care what anybody says. Whitney often talks about like she'll reference her jail braids, under her wig.
Oh,
Like
yes,
she
yes,
will talk
yes.
about that. This girl, she looked like maybe black and Indian. She had very, very, very pretty long
Don't piss
hair.
me off.
And I went through her Instagram, right? And she was saying like Whitney was not nice to me, blah, blah. Well, sis, you stepped out. There's some things that are just like the name of the game. You stepped out with her ex who kind
Right.
of did her dirty. I'm not, let's be real. Like, I don't, y'all know I don't get too much in that girl shit.
What do I
I
owe
might have
you? Yeah,
thrown you, I don't owe you anything. I might have thrown you a side eye. I don't know. I don't care. I'm not going to
right.
outwardly
I
judge
I
somebody
don't
about
know
that.
you.
We're not going to act like your friends don't screenshot exes and be like, this her?
Come
And
on.
vice
Come on.
versa. Vice versa.
Yeah.
The exes, friends are screenshotting the new girls and being like, this her. Like, that is something that happens.
Yeah.
I don't think that
Yes.
that is worth
What the,
calling
she
somebody.
wasn't nice to me, girl.
Yeah, yeah. Why would I be nice to you, right? But I just, I'm like, this happened, and I didn't like the way people were like, she's just mad he's stepping out with another black girl. Whitney is Nigerian, and she is black. That girl was clearly mixed, and I'm not taking away from her experience, but the experiences are different. And
Ve- uh, g-
what that girl experiences and what she experiences with his family is probably going to be different than what Whitney did because again, like there's a video got posted of him with one of her wigs on. It was in singing Bob Marley.
Girl.
Yes, girl. It was. I said, this is this is too far.
Well, let me tell
This is
you,
a mess.
the way they treat black women, let me tell you something. That what was his name? I kept calling him M. What was
And
his
Medi,
name?
Medi. Have you gotten to
The
there yet?
way he immediately took up for that white girl.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Jess and Whitney are close friends still to this day.
Oh wow. That's
That,
like
yeah, so that wasn't like, that really
that
wasn't,
burned me
it
up.
pissed me off too. It really wasn't like that big of a lot of people say that some arguments that people on the outside get really like raw over, they forget about, and they'll come out and they'll give context. They're like, they'll be like, I was having a really bad day and blah blah blah. And I think in that sense, Jess had said like she was, I forget who she was dealing with at the time, the guy, but she, people kept saying that she was had an issue with Molly, right? And just had
Oh
made some
no.
comments about Molly,
Yeah.
and the guys were kind of fueling this. So for her, she was just like, when dealing with everybody else saying that, and then the guy stuff, when Kat and Wit came over and were just telling me like, you do sometimes kind of say these things, she said she had an emotional reaction.
And she admitted to it, which
She
I
did.
think she said
Yeah.
normally I would be her.
Yeah.
Like I would be so
Mm-hmm.
I was like the fact that he's not listening to her
Mm-hmm.
and saying if I find out you made Molly cry, I
Mm-hmm.
said, what you gonna do, big boo?
Yeah. Yeah.
Girl, I said,
I
get away from
I
him.
hated
Get
him.
away from him.
I
And
hated
oh,
him.
you were laughing when I was saying those nice things. You could tell it was a nervous girl
He
because
was
she's not used to showing her emotions.
mm-hmm. He was, oh, when you were like, I like him so far, I was like,
Girl, you were right. I said, oh, you're controlling.
mm-hmm.
Oh, you think, oh, girl. And then poor Mitch. I said, Mitch, you 2 weeks too late. Now, I don't know. It just ends up.
I do
Okay.
not like Mitch. I don't like
He is talking about the way he tried to, the way he tried to control Molly
mm-hmm.
didn't lie to him.
No, she didn't. He's a weird.
Like
Mitch was a weirdo, and he just gets
when
worse.
they were voting, when even though the vote, you know how they show
Mm-hmm.
voting closed, but they were showing what their votes were. I said, there's not one man in this lineup because Dre is gone.
Yeah. Okay.
There's not one man in this lineup that I will pick. It was between Sammy, Mitch. What's the guy that Mitch was getting ready to fight over Molly?
Zach.
Him, Zach, Ty. I said, I have literally no man. I'm not rooting for not
Mm-hmm.
a man on here. I'm rooting for
I
the women. Kiss one of them.
I had I had such a, much like Ace, I had such like a push pull with Ty, because there were times when he really was funny.
Now, yeah,
Uh,
he can
how,
definitely be funny, right?
however, I didn't, when he came out of wait till you get to Casa from that season.
Oh, okay.
I can't wait to give you so much context from this season. But okay,
Okay.
we're gonna go ahead and wrap up
Look, when we
there.
get off here, I'm going into my next episode.
I'm sure y'all already know where to find Taria, but in case you don't, Taria, please tell them where they can find you.
First of all, thank you, Who's Who, for having me. I'm going to need merch stat. I will make a Who's Who sweatshirt and I will buy it. I prefer a hoodie, but even if you do regular, I will support and buy it.
Okay.
Y'all can find me at We Go Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, at We Go Podcast One on TikTok. I'm going to tick and I'm going to talk eventually a little bit more. Um, YouTube, you can find me What Else Is Going On podcast, where we talk about all things pop culture, housewives, everything. And then wherever it is you find your podcast, What Else Is Going On?
She is pushing out the content,
I
y'all.
be
So
trying,
you will
child. I
be
be trying.
fed. And y'all already know where you can find me. Yeah, talk about it. Y'all already know where you can find me. Who Asked Zell on all platforms. Who Asked Me podcast over on Instagram. If you are on YouTube, please don't forget to like and subscribe so we can get more ears on this and we can just have more episodes and more things. Maybe I can get me a cute little couch, setup area. But
Yes.
I will talk to y'all next week.